So we're talking about the thing that's become a thing, Hillary Clinton not talking to the press. We've seen presidential candidates in our careers go long stretches without talking to the press.
Yeah.
But this has become a thing because she launched her campaign in the midst of a lot of controversy. There are a lot of current germane questions. She's not answering any of them.
Yeah, and, look, I mean, the press is getting frustrated. They heard that she was going to do a reset. She was going to try to have better relations with the press. And instead of having better relationships with the press, she's having virtually no relationships with the press right now. And you can understand why the press is frustrated. The question, Mark, is whether voters give a damn.
I mean, if you look at the polling numbers, there's no indication voters currently care. It's not just to cater to the media. There's a public interest in a lot of these topics, and the press has got a responsibility to try to get answers. What's even more amazing to me is two things. One is even her staff is barely answering questions on things like the emails, on things like her position on trade. And Jeb Bush is out there answering questions and getting in trouble. And I'm certain that the Clinton people look at that and say, here's yet another reason why we shouldn't take questions. Last thing I'll say is there are Clinton loyalists who will say, I don't know how long this can go on eventually, but also I hope it goes on longer because you know what? On a lot of these things, she doesn't have good answers.
Well, that's the key. The key thing is what her answers are, because I think we both agree. At the height of the foundation scandal, so the questions around the foundation,
you can call it a flap.
That she could have done a lot to diffuse that if she had gone on a Sunday show, if she had sat with the New York Times, if she'd sat with a network anchor, but only if she has good answers. If she doesn't have good answers, it makes sense to keep her out of the crosshairs. But eventually, she's going to have answers on those questions. She can't literally not answer them ever. And that's not possible. At least at a debate stage, it's going to come up.
And those things will linger for a while. Not taking a position on trade, criticized by people across the political spectrum, including the Washington Post editorial page and others saying, you've got to take a position. Clearly now, one reason she doesn't want to talk to the press is she's hoping the issue gets resolved and she never has to weigh in.
And I'll tell you one other thing that really hurts her, I think, in this area is that it may be true that in the short term that voters don't care. But the press cares, and the press sets the narrative, no matter whether you want to argue with that or not. And for her, this is reviving the worst old meme about her, which is that she's evasive, she doesn't have a good relationship with the press, she doesn't answer direct questions in a straightforward way. That is just making the press cynical about her, and in the long run, that is not to her benefit.
And it goes back to what you said in the beginning, which is not only did her people say it'd be a new day, she hired a bunch of people who have very good relations with the press. And those people are not doing anything, obviously, to convince her to talk. I mean, I don't know if they're recommending she not talk or it's all coming from her. But as I said, they're not even talking. So right now, you've got a bunch of unresponded to allegations. You go back to the original war room, Clinton 92.
Answer every allegation.
Answer every allegation. Rapid response.
Rapidly with facts, right?
And not always with facts, but at least say something. She's not talking. It's not going to end until she does.
So here's the bottom line, right? Short term, maybe smart. Long term, dumb.
I think that's pretty good. All right. Thanks for watching. Mark Halperin, John Heilemann here in Gotham City. More soon on BloombergPolitics.com.